Hi, my name is Ann McMillan. I am the Master Wealth Builder, helping you to build a stronger and better life and business in every area of your life. And my question for you today is, who is holding you financially accountable? You see, we're just starting the new year, and many people make resolutions and they make commitments. I do it. What about you? Well, what I am learning is this. When I picked up a copy of this book in 1979, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and began to read the book began to read me. And even though Napoleon Hill asked me these questions, I am still on that journey today. Financially, looking at my finances on a regular basis. What about you? Who's holding you accountable for your finances? You see, this book was the book that helped me build from a $20 bill. Yes, one $20 bill compounded over 10, 20, 30, now 40 years. Yes, 40 years later, we're talking about your accountability and who's holding you accountable. As the master wealth builder, my desire is to help you build a stronger foundation in your finances by focusing on and building a financial survey for your life as a part of your own annual report. Do you have an annual report for your life that include your finances? What kind of questions would you ask? And actually, that's why I came on today, so that I can share some of the questions I'd like to challenge you to ask yourself. You see, we have an annual meeting for your life. I'll put the comments and the link in the chat if you'd like to join us. But what I want to ask you are a list of questions that I'd like for you to answer. I wrote a book called How to Start and Operate and Run an Effective Mastermind Group. But these are some of the questions. And I think that it's very important if you consider yourself as a publicly traded corporation. And every year, your stockholders will determine whether or not they will invest in you based upon the commitments that you have made on an annual basis for what you intend to do in returning the earnings back to them based upon your projections on an annual basis. So what are you projecting in your finances? Let's see, how do some of these questions fit for you? I'll read from McNeil Factor, and let's start with your taxes. How about that? Have you filed your taxes? It's either yes or no. Do you know how much money you need to retire? That's a yes or no. Do you max your Roth IRA every year? Yes or no? How about, did you max your 401k or your 403b last year? How about this year? Will you max that out this year? Yes or no? Do you have long-term savings? Yes or no? Do you have a short-term savings? We're talking about an annual meeting for your life. These are some of the questions that we answer when we talk about how do you create an annual report for your life? Where do you go to have an annual meeting of accountability for your life? Why is this important to you? You see, when I picked up this book and I began to read Napoleon Hill's book, and I realized that I was broke and I was broken. I really didn't have a desire, did not really know what that was. I knew I did what we were taught to do: go to school, get a good education, and get a good corporate job. I did that. So why was I so deeply in debt and no possible way of understanding how to get out. And Napoleon Hill asked me 4 questions, but he gave me 6 steps to riches. And what I like to do is share that with you because I think it's very important when you look at how do you go from where you are financially to where you'd like to be financially. Where do you go from where you are financially to where you would like to be financially? I'm asking the question of who's holding you accountable for your finances. This is the first question Napoleon Hill asked me, and I'm going to ask you this question. How much money do you want? Think about that. Can you get a sheet of paper and just write it down? How much money do you want? And put a number there. For me, when I answered that question in 1979, December 31st, 9 p.m., yes, I know the exact day and the exact time and the exact place because that was the place. You know, we draw that line in the sand for many of us. That was the place that was a new beginning for me. It's kind of like another date in your life, your birthday. You know your birthday. Yes, you know your birthday because that was the beginning of life for you. Well, you see, December 31st, 1979 for me was the beginning of a new kind of life of self-discovery. When Napoleon Hill asked me, Ann McNeil, how much money do you want? Nobody had ever asked me that before. So I didn't know any better. I said $1,000. The second question he asked me, he said, well, Ann McNeil, how are you going to get that money? I said, I'd save the money. Wrong answer, of course, because you can't save money you don't have. But I said I'd save the money. But the third question he asked me was, by what date do you want the money by? I said December 31st, 1980 would be a good date. You see, I didn't answer the questions like that in the very beginning. I read right through it and kept reading, and then I came back to the questions because I was home alone, December 31st, New Year. You know how we do, like right now, it's a new beginning. I said, let me answer these questions honestly. Honestly. And when he asked me a date, I said December 31st, 1980. But when I got to question number 4, and he said, okay, what is the detailed action plan of exactly how you're going to make that money? I said, I make this much, I spend this much. In my mind, I got a negative number. I said, it cannot be right. I got a sheet of paper and I wrote it down. I make this much, I spend this much. The negative number was bigger. I said, that cannot be right. I decided to get a calculator, and I got a calculator and I figured out in math and computation, I make this much, I spend this much. I got a negative number. I said, this cannot be right. This cannot be right. I decided to take out my cancel checks for the previous 11 months and do a spreadsheet to find out where was the money going. January, a negative, February, a negative, March, a negative, yes, all the way to November. Okay, let's be honest. I knew, can I be honest? Can you be honest? Will you be honest? This is the first of the year. And I decided to come on and do this broadcast because I believe that my life would be so very different if I had not gotten off the treadmill that night and asked myself some tough questions and be honest for the first time in my adult life with myself and say, you know what? I did what my parents told me to do. Go to school, get a good education, get a good corporate job. I did that. So why was I so deeply in debt in the process of getting another degree after 3 degrees? Why? Well, that's what I'd like to talk with you about on January the 30th as I host an annual meeting for your life as we show you how to create an annual report for your life. And that annual report for your life will help you understand how to go financially from where you are to where you'd like to be in every area of your life. But today I'm only talking about your finances. And I want to encourage you, join us on January 30th from 1 o'clock Eastern Time to 5 o'clock Eastern Time on a virtual meeting for your life. We'll have breakout sessions, but we're going to drill down in how do you create your own annual report for your life, covering the 10 areas of your life. Your financial area is one of those lives. I just know that I'm so very happy And I'm excited that I started this journey in 1979. And 7 figures later, I'm still on the journey. 5 businesses later, I'm teaching others how to do the same. And I just think that until we get to the point of understanding is our beliefs and those limiting beliefs oftentimes that hold us back. But until we have an opportunity to connect with individuals that can coach us through the process, that can consult us through the process, whether or not we have a desire yet. But if you do have a desire, understand that whatever you're seeking is seeking you. And your finances and your family are so critically important to your success spiritually and connecting with that which you desire. All right, well, I will be hosting a meeting tonight at 6 p.m. on Clubhouse Eastern Time. Join me as we pick up this conversation with a few other people and we can go a little deeper, but also join us at the link I just put in the chat. Join me. You can also text Ann at 55678. Text the word "and" at 55678, and I'll also text that information back to you where you can join us for your annual meeting for your life. And until then, I want to continue to thank you for thinking and growing richer with me. And I will see you tomorrow, same place, same time at 11 a.m. Eastern, as we talk about the next category in this journey. All right, see you tonight. Clubhouse, 6 p.m. Eastern.